Hi everyone and welcome to my place. It's nearly Christmas, and if you are like me and you like a little traditional red and white with some ivy and some holly and some lilies, I think I might have ticked all the boxes. This is going to be my beautiful statement piece for this year. Let's start with the vase. See this vase here? And see that vase there. They are exactly the same. You know how I don't like to see the stems of artificial flowers in a vase. Well, I've got the perfect solution, and that is to paint this with my chalk paint. And the recipe is 1/3 of a cup of plaster of Paris, 1/3 of a cup of water. Mix it very well and add it to a cup of flat black paint. And give it 2 coats, and you are left with something that, 1, is going to hide the stems, and 2, is going to make it a little bit stronger and visually sturdier for the flowers that we are going to display. I always think that light for the spring and the summer, dark for the autumn and the winter, and it just weighs the whole thing down and gives a bit of visual interest. I will get rid of this because I only have 1 left now and I don't want to break it. To begin, let's just put that there. Now, I mentioned holly and ivy. Well, I am that excited because the ivy that I have been after for ages for part of the collection here at Prestige Botanicals and for Astar's Place to Play With, I have it. Now, when it comes to your place, it's going to look like this, just like this. It's going to look flat and you're going to say, what is this, Astar? Well, do not panic, because it's just a matter of getting into there and pulling out all of these bits and then bending these bits down here and then turning the leaves in whichever way you want to have them. So this has been designed, now there's one of these that's just over the road there, over my neighbour's fence, and I've been looking at it, and that's what I designed this off. And it's like the beginning of the season, that beautiful, beautiful spring green glossiness that you get to the ivy. But the beauty with this is, mine doesn't get the wilt on because you can't use it at that time of the year, and you've got to wait for weeks and weeks and weeks until it hardens up. So that is why I've got that. And this is perfect for the formation of a bouquet, and I can't wait to get into them. Okay, so that's that. Let's get rid of that. Let us just get on with it. So I'm going to put that onto my little wee lazy Susie here. Now I'm going to use 2 pieces, and because they aren't long enough to get into, because now I must just reiterate, I have decided that the Oasis is really, really great, but not everybody has access to it, and there are companies out there that produce an organic foam. I think that it's easier to not use it at all for certain types of arrangements. So for those of you who are arranging for at home, this is perfect. What I suggest you do is put this on your placement surface. So if it's going to be onto a sideboard or a table or a buffet unit, put it on the surface and then start. Now, like I've said with every other design I've done over the years, just imagine that there's an imaginary line running through the middle like a mirror. So whatever you do on this side, you do on the other side. Also, during lockdown, I have had time to investigate the work of my favourite of all the designers, Constance Spry. And the designs that I want to share now are those that go down and then they sort of like come up. And then you've got this lovely space. It just is visually really interesting. And it's time those designs came back. So what I've done here is I've just used a piece of bamboo, or you might have a flower stem or a garden style, whatever you've got on hand. And then I've just used 2 Ziplocs or cable ties to fix this onto the bamboo or whatever you're going to use, and that will give me the length so that when I put it into there, ta-da! it's strong and it's stable and it's not going to fall out. So one onto that side and one onto this side. Now don't be fiddling around trying to get your ivy looking perfect at this stage. We'll come back to doing the final fiddle when we are finished. Now to that I have got these beautiful magnolias. Look at that, isn't that just gorgeous? And what I love about it is it's got these fine tiny almost like raspberry kisses on the backs of the petals and in the inside. Can you see into there? Little fine details of pink with the yellow stamen. Absolutely gorgeous. And it's much better using this colour white than it with the pink and the variants in it, than using something like, you know, white, which can be a little bit like, oh, it's a bit white and it's a bit stark. So before I put those in, I'm going to put the sticks in. Now you know how I love sticks. What I love about sticks is they give lovely movement and they also give length. So I'm going to put, oops, that's what I wanted to do. That's going to go over to there and I'm going to bring that over to there. Now as we go into this design, what I want to do, as I said, is I want something that's that shaped, like a C upside down, and I'll bring that over to there. I'll be able to adjust that in due course, but I just want to establish that that beautiful shape. The other thing about using the twisted willow, or you might have some fruit tree branches, is it's going to connect in back to the darkness of your container. Right, with those, and I've got one piece left, and I'm going to bring that bit there into there. Ah, that fills that. See how that just filled from there to there? Just one bit of stick. It's just like magic, really. Now, with the magnolia, I could cut that bit off, but my little rule of thumb is once you cut, you can never go back. And for this type of design, once Christmas is over, you might want to do something else with it. So we'll bring that into there. It's pointing the wrong way, but it doesn't matter at this stage. So I've got one on that side and I'll bring one over and into this side. Now, as I'm putting all the forms in, I'm sort of crisscrossing them so that forms that lovely network in which to hold everything. And as we move into the design, that will just keep everything really firm. The next to go into here is this. Oh, I just absolutely love this maple. And I went to Canada a couple of years ago when I could go somewhere. And the whole reason was I wanted to see what the maple looked like in the autumn, because here in Auckland in the southern hemisphere, it's never cold enough for us to get those lovely colourings that you do in the northern hemisphere, especially in places like Canada and that area and sweeping through across America. So I just thought that that would be a lovely addition, and I really love that red. And also that red is going to connect up and into the little pinky bits on the side, because it's almost like it got dipped in the same dye, if you get my drift. Okay, so two pieces of this. I'm going to bring one bit over to there. Whoops, that's slipping down a bit. And I haven't cut this either because, as I said, once you cut, you can never go back. Now, I also don't want this to be, that's red and white together. So those, you know, just diffusing that with those little bits of pink, and then this in amongst the foliage is going to give us a really lovely, cornucopia of beautiful colours that are traditional cream. Right, let me just turn this around and see where I'm going here. Now, the next to go in is I've got one piece of holly, so I'm going to bring a piece of holly into there and just one extra bit over to that side. So I've got the red down there that's going to connect through to, visually you'll just see hints and tints of the rubiness of the leaves, and then with that coming down there, that's just sort of like the interplay of lines and forms into here is really beautiful. And with the little bits of creaminess on that lovely holly, that's connecting through into the cream of those flowers. The next thing to go in are, you can't have Christmas without a rosehip, and I absolutely love these. So I'm just going to bring one over and into there, and the other one can come up and over to there. So look what's happening now. Oh yeah, look at that. Doesn't that just look beautiful? And if you need to, you can get your hands into there and you can pull those out ever so slightly. And because that isn't in properly, it just fell out. But that's okay, because I'll just pop that in there for now. The next thing I wanted to put in are, and I'll leave that there. Hold on, I just need to move along here. I'm going to keep that for the end because I may have a little void in the centre right some beautiful roses. So I'm just going to bring a rose into there like that, and I'm going to bring the other rose in beside it, just like blocking those colours together. And then look at this, isn't this lovely? I know you don't get lilac in the middle of winter and at Christmas, but you know what? I just love the way that it falls. And if somebody was to say to you, you can't put spring flowers with winter flowers, I just want you to know, if you're doing it and it visually pleases you, you just do whatever you want to. Now, I need this to be a little bit shorter, so I'm just going to bend that. And to all of those professionals out there and those traditionals are saying, oh, Astar, shame on you for bending. I might want to use it again, and why would I bother? So I'll just bend that bit up, and I've got the white roses there, and I'm just going to bring this into there. So I'm just stepping that up ever so slightly so that that drips down. And hold on, let me just have a look and see what I'm doing here, because I'm not quite liking where that's going. Ah, that's better. I just wanted a little bit of space between the roses and there. So now when you, that beautiful white against that black, it just lifts the whole thing. Now, here we go. This is another new form into the range that I have. This is called a Croton, and I saw these growing in Hawaii. I took lots of photographs and I also did drawings to get the colours sorted out, but I absolutely love this. And if you're working with reds and yellows and oranges and you want to diffuse those, this is what you reach for. And also with the lovely green in there and those little bit of yellow, it just lifts it up. So with that, I'm going to bring that into the centre there, and look what that does. Isn't that just beautiful? Oh, look how it just lifts it, and it just, that mutations of those colours through into the berries and then through here and into the gorgeous maple. It just is this beautiful picture of visuals. Now to that, oops, that nearly fell off there. I'll now put in, oh no, I don't want to do that yet. I want to bring in the lilies. So I've got two lilies, one can go there and this one can go down ever so slightly. And I'll just lift that up. So I've got that little grouping of the lilies there. And the two of these that I've got left, I'm just going to bring one down into there. And because I've got the black base, I'm going to use this black rosehip just to bring the eye in. So what will happen now is the eye comes up here and then it has this moment of, I love that black. Oh. Come Christmas, get the fresh lilies and pop them in, and there you have it. Merry Christmas from me to your family, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.